everyone, Karen the Warp Spinster here. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I have a confession to make, which is why I am doing this face-to-face introduction. I promise you that when I filmed this video today, I had the lighting all set so that it was fine. I'm using an iPad and I'm using natural light, and that can be really tricky. So I promise you I had the lighting set up fine, but as soon as my back was turned, the camera changed. I'm blaming it all on the camera. Anyway, I made some edits that I think it'll be okay, but if that is the sort of thing that is going to cause you to run screaming from the room, you might want to run from the room now. If you are here just for the prompt for this upcoming week, then I will put the timestamp for that down in the description below. And in the video, I just show a final design that I did over the week for the demo prompt that I did last week, which was, what was it? Childhood toys and games. And then I just walk through the process of me doing the musical instruments prompt. I thought about refilming it, but honestly, I liked what I did and I didn't want to try to create it. I just wanted it to be spontaneous as I was going through it. So I hope you'll bear with me, and my apologies for the lighting issues. I will see you again when I tell you about the prompt for next week. First, I wanted to show you what I ended up with as my final design. These aren't necessarily the colors, but if you remember, I was doing the prompt of childhood toys and games, and I chose a boot style roller skate, and I was doing various lace holes. What are those? Anyway, the laces on the boot, and this is what I finally ended up with. And one of the viewers commented that a design came to her in the middle of the night or overnight, and that happens to me a lot when I wake up at 3 in the morning. And I just had this picture of them fanning out like that, and I really liked that, and I like having the circles overlapping the edge and having two different colors, so it looks like the lace is going into, I don't know, negative space or the hole there, and then having them just fan out like that. So it looks kind of like you're looking at where the boot takes a turn for the top of the foot from the ankle to the top of the foot, exaggerated. So anyway, that's what I finally ended up with, one of them anyway. I may do others. So I have lots of choices that I could do for musical instruments. There are some things about a viola that would be interesting. The F hole just is interesting to me on the viola. I played it for about 1.5 minutes when I was in high school. I love the sound of it. I've played some piano. My mom was a great pianist, and she loved organ too. And organ would have lots of wonderful things with the stops and the pedals and keyboard and all of that. There are some really interesting parts to a piano. A long time ago, I dated a man who was restoring his 1936 baby Steinway grand piano. Hated it when I called it a baby. I think you're supposed to actually refer to it by the length, but I called it a baby. It was still really big. Beautiful piano, and I learned more about the parts of a piano than I ever thought I would. And there's some really interesting parts. The hammers and the dampers, really, really interesting. So piano was a possibility, but I think, and the flute, the keys on the flute and the barrel and the foot piece and all that. I've never played flute, but I think that would be really interesting. Just the structure of the keys looks interesting. But I decided, I think that I'm going to do guitar because I have played that for the longest, and not that I'm good at it, but I want to actually, let me put up, I took a photo of 2 of my guitars here, and I'll just put this up here for reference. One of them is just a standard size acoustic, and then it's a Martin, and then a friend of mine gave me a Martin calls a backpacker's guitar. Make this a little larger to begin with. And that just, I mean, that's art right there, just the shape of it, and I like it. Anyway, so I'm doing this on an iPad because I think you'll actually be able to see it better. I hope I've got it situated. And I think I probably know the parts of a guitar enough that I can deconstruct it without that photo there. So I'll leave it in case I need it for reference, but let's sketch. Let me just use a mono. And so if I were to deconstruct the guitar, I would do like the sound hole. And then of course there are the strings. And there's the finger guard. Or something like that. Isn't that horrible? I can't remember the shape of that. And then of course there's the shape of the guitar to begin with. You can see how, ooh, that's bad. Let's do that again. It's not much better, but gives me the idea for shapes I could use. And then of course there are the frets on the neck of the guitar. And then the dots that, they wouldn't be in this position, but the dots that tell you which fret that is. And then you have the head of the guitar, which varies from guitar to guitar, but then the neck comes down from there. And then you have, of course, the tuning pegs, which are generally the same shape, a little bit different on each guitar. So I have lots of choices. Oh, and then down where the strings come in and the pegs that hold in the guitar. And I always think of it somehow as being straight across, but it's actually angled a little bit, which is interesting. It's kind of a subtle angle, but there is an angle there. And then on the backpacker's guitar, it's actually staggered. So it comes in, and the pegs are actually, they're at the end of the strings, but they're staggered this way. So that could be an interesting arrangement. Of course, that could be an arrangement even if we use this, because we can do whatever we want with these pieces. So I think I have in the past, I think somewhere buried in my sketchbook of designs, I have something where I have the strings just running across that, and I think that would be fine. Whoops. Select the right thing here. And I think I might offset those, though, to be asymmetrical. You know me, I don't want them centered. Move them off to the side, maybe make the circle a little larger. And these don't have to be equally spaced. So that's an idea, and I actually like it because I like circles and lines or bars. But I think I want to maybe work with the frets to begin with. So let me do a sketch with that. Let's hide that one for the moment. And so I could do the frets just straight up as I had them there, and then do the circles, and naturally I don't have to have them, thankfully, as they appear on the guitar. They wouldn't be right next to each other. They are never right next to each other on the frets. So that would be perfectly fine. If I did it, I probably, again, would offset it a bit. But what if I were to stagger these and maybe even make them different lengths? And there are 5. This just has 4. And then, of course, the circles could be any size. They could be rings or they could be circles. And I could vary the size. And they wouldn't be on the fret lines themselves, of course, but we're not worrying about that here because we're just using it for inspiration. I think I might fill those in, though. Ooh, even partly filled in. Wouldn't that be fun? Ooh, thank you, Procreate. I'm using Procreate on my iPad, by the way. I certainly could have them make that a little more circular. This is just a sketch, but okay. And I could have some be filled in, some be just the rings. They, of course, could be different colors. I could skip one and do some down here, even of different sizes, and I'm using 3 down here. Let's try them with different colors. For modern palette, I often use color like that, so let's try that in a couple of places. And I might have it be the same color on the ring or have it be separate. Choose a different color just for fun. I don't know, I'd have to do more with colors if I was going to do that. And then I might also do it with the lines that are spaced not evenly, because I'm not really into symmetry that much these days. Many of you are, and that's great. It's not that I dislike symmetry, I'm just exploring asymmetry these days. So anyway, you get the idea. I'm just sketching here. And then I could do some circles and have them sitting on it. It's beginning to look like my cereal design from my boxed cereal. Honestly, Karen. And I actually kind of like that. So I've got different length lines, a little bit different, staggered, and just some rings sitting on top. So it's a minimalist thing, which it's another thing I'm exploring right now. And I've just got 4 there. I want at least 1 more. And what if we do a rogue and he's bigger? I want to place him a little better than that. Or maybe a different color. I wouldn't necessarily do this all in one color. So that's a possibility. And let's try something though with the pegs now and let's go back to black. And so still circles because I just love circles. Then if we did a peg, a stylized peg, and I might actually make that probably square at the top. And then what if we one of the advantages of me using the iPad is that you don't have to sit here and watch me redraw these things. And another way you could do this if you want to repeat things would be to, of course, draw this on paper, but you could also cut this out of construction paper or scrap paper or whatever. And if you want to do duplicates and then just move them around. Or even if you don't do duplicates, just doing one of the different parts, you could just create them from newspaper, magazine, anything would work. And then have it move around, maybe all the way around, maybe not all the way around. And I would do an odd number, I think. I'm going to do a few more, and I'll speed through that so you don't have to watch me go through that. And I think I like that stopping short of that going all the way around, just for a little interest. Now, if we take that whole thing and then, oops, I missed one. Oh, that's kind of interesting too. Kind of like that. Three on one side, 4 on the other. How do I feel about that? Well, it's 7 total. I think my eye likes that better. I could do these in different colors. I could also change the sizes, or maybe make one longer and one smaller. I'm just choosing random ones. I might do this a little more thoughtfully. I don't know if I like that. I think I kind of like that this way. And of course, I could always add in all sorts of other things. I could do lines there through it. I could do another layer here, move this guy down to that group in case we want to do that again. Let's do, I don't think I'm going to like lines through it, but stranger things have happened in my life, so maybe I will. I think that kind of distracts from the other bit. So I don't think I like that. But what if we were to take those lines and say one of the frets here, or one of the pegs, duplicate that so I keep it in the same group here. And if I were to take that and line it up, and then, now this would be more in keeping with kind of how it looks on the guitar itself, because it's on the side of the head rather than around a circle. But and of course I can always flip it and do this. I could overlap that. It's interesting. What if I fill that in? I moved from Illustrator to Procreate, and I forget sometimes which one I'm in. All right. So that's kind of interesting. Again, I would offset it, and I might do different colors. It might be a single color. I don't know. I'm really kind of liking that. I could simplify the, sorry, I'm making my camera rattle here. I hope that I can stabilize that when I edit. I could make those more square, which would be, of course, easier to piece if I decide to piece this. But I think I'm kind of liking the round. I don't know. What do you think? I'm liking this one. I thought I was going to like this one the best. Let me try filling in these pegs. Flatten it because it's probably the arrangement I would use anyway. And I could always, I don't know if I want to, oops. I just don't learn, do I? Of course, I could do different colors around here. I kind of like rogues. So what if we do a rogue? I don't know. Let's do a rogue lime green. Didn't used to like lime green, and here I am. I don't know. I kind of like that. Maybe a little strange. What if we then, on top of that, let's stick with the lime green, see what happens, and do a circle, which we fill in or not. It's beginning to look like a little alien eyeball or something. But, you know, I may be okay with that. Do a little dot, which could be in the center or could be attracted to the orange over, or the green over there. I don't know that I want it exactly centered. Okay, now I'm going to be torn. I may have to make two because I really like this one. Let's put them side by side. We'll see what we've done here. There's one, and then this one. Oops. Choose the group, Karen. And then this one. So now I want this one to have some color too, of course. Might be interesting to do a whole quilt with like different blocks and have some of the different designs. What else do I have here? Do I have any other designs I might use? Maybe. That could be kind of fun. So make a larger quilt with different sort of blocks in it, not maybe delineated with sashes or anything, but that then I probably would want to change color or add some other colors in here. But as long as we've got that selected, let's try, oops, didn't hit that line very well. I could I think I want orange down there, give it a little more weight. And then back in this group, because that peg there is green, I think got a rogue going that direction. So let's do a rogue with that same orange and have one go that direction. Which I think I actually want on top of the line, so that could be kind of fun. If I were doing just one quilt, I think I would choose this one first. So that would be number 1 for me. This would be number 2. This might be number 3. I think I might actually do that one. I think that's just a lot of fun, and I may end up appliquing because I want this to be kind of a, I don't know, almost a cartoony sort of look. I could, of course, square off the peg heads and make it more geometrical, but I'm not sure I want to do that. I might try that on this, though. Let me find those pegs. Which one is that? That's the bottom one. Okay. Use some black. Oh, that's even, ooh, I was planning for that to be a rectangle, but, oops. Honestly, that's kind of cool that way, isn't it? Where it isn't really a rectangle. I like that. It also, pardon my froggy voice today, could be something like that. I don't like that as well as this. And I think on this one, I might end up doing it this way. And do I want to do it so that they're both facing that direction? Or do I want one of them to be going this way? I don't know. That's a decision I can make off camera, so you aren't having to sit here and listen to me. Okay, so that's my number 1 choice. That's choice number 2. Choice number 3. Do I have anything else here that... This was kind of an interesting thing where... Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Great fun. This one, not necessarily those colors, but it's kind of interesting to have a ring below and filled in above, or vice versa. So that's another concept I might explore. I don't like this particularly, but I kind of like that whole concept there. So that's it for my musical instruments design for today anyway. Thank you for following through that with me if you've done that. And keep sharing your designs that you've done. I love seeing them. There's so many creative people, and when I read someone saying that they are interested in designing quilts now and might make some of these quilts, it just makes my heart happy. Our prompt for next week is going to be all things tea. So anything you can think of that starts with the letter T that interests you to use for designing another quilt. It might be train or truck or tin can. I don't know. Could you come up? Yeah, you know, I say inspiration's available everywhere, so let's go with tin cans is a possibility. I can think of a couple of things that might be interesting. Telephone. I'm from an era where we had things called telephones, not phones, and cell phones. And don't be afraid to go retro and think of some things from earlier days. Typewriter, I think, would be interesting. I learned how to type on a manual typewriter. What else have we got? I'm just looking around to see. Twins. I mean, I don't know. There are all kinds of things, and I'm sure you'll come up with better ideas. So next week, we're going to be all about tea. On Wednesday, there's an idea I've been thinking about, been wanting to explore, and I'm hoping you'll join me for that. It's going to have some scraps worked into it. So it's going to be a combination of scrap busting with strips and improv, and then a little bit of crazy quilting, but with a modern twist in it. I don't know how it's going to go. I guess we'll see. In the meantime, be well, be happy, be quilting, be designing. Peace out.